Hi, this is Mrs. McCullough, and I want to teach you how readers have different voices when they're reading. You see, in today's lesson, we're going to talk about how you have a couple of voices in your head at the same time. The first one I want to talk to you about is the reading voice. Now, this is the word that reads the print on the page. So it will decode the words. It will also look at the pictures. It will look at any of the text that's on the page or the screen. So if we're looking at something that has some different diagrams or charts or graphs or photographs or drawings, our reading voice will look at all of those things. But you have another voice. You have a thinking voice. And this is the one that thinks about what the text means. And so it's trying to make sense of all of the words and the pictures and the diagrams and the tables. And it's trying to wonder and connect and visualize and predict and have all of those thoughts when you're reading. And so readers have both of these going on during the reading. So let me show you what I'm talking about. See, here is a boy on a tablet. He's doing some reading digitally, or it could be printed text as well. And so he's reading the words with the speech bubble here. Those are the words that he reads aloud. Those are the words that you hear when your teacher or your mom or somebody reads to you. It's also, though, when a reader reads silently. So at this age, it's probably gone to the silent reading mode. And you are hearing the words decoded as you're reading. But you know what? There's another voice. It is that thinking voice. See how it's the thought bubble? And so the thinking voice, it whispers to you. The reading voice is loud. The green reading voice, it's loud. It's your speech bubble. It's the speaking voice. But the thinking voice, it's quieter. It whispers. You can't actually hear it out loud. It's something that you have to pay attention to in your brain. And so, as a reminder, the reading voice tells you what the text says. Text being words, pictures, something else. But the thinking voice really lets you in on what the text means. And again, text could be pictures, sentences, paragraphs. It could be a variety of things. Okay, so let's try this out. I'm actually going to share my screen with you because I have found a couple really cool poems by Ken Nesbitt in a website called Poetry for Kids. And so I'll link to those in the lesson, but I also have typed them up and I want to share them with you here today. And so I'm going to model. I'm going to use my signs. The reading voice, that's the one that's reading the words. The thinking voice, that's the one that's thinking about the text and what it means. And so I'll do both of these for you. I'll read for a little bit and then I'll stop and pause and have a thought. And I'll let you in on what my thinking voice is saying. Ready? It's called, I Broke My Mother's iPhone. I broke my mother's iPhone. I didn't mean to do it. Oh, you know what my thinking voice is saying right away? Your mama is going to be mad. She's going to be so mad that you broke her phone. Those are expensive. And we use them all the time. What's she going to do? I played a game that made me mad, and that was why I threw it. What? You threw it? Well, no wonder it broke. You know you can't do that to a cell phone. They're very fragile, made of glass. The screen? Oh no, that's not a good idea. I tried to fix it quickly. I used a lot of tape, plus glue and gum and rubber bands to put it back in shape. What? Glue? Gum? Rubber bands? You can't be serious. You didn't think that was going to fix a cell phone, did you? I thought I got it working, but when I turned it on, the videos refused to play and all the games were gone. Yeah, I'm not surprised. All the games are gone because you broke it. It couldn't send an email. It couldn't send a text. The apps were mostly missing, which left me quite perplexed. I'm thinking perplexed means you're confused. And yes, you should be. You should be confused and maybe a little worried because Mom is going to be so upset with you. There wasn't much of anything her phone could do at all. The only thing that worked was when she tried to make a call. Yeah, and my thinking voice is saying, a cell phone's not very good if it only can make a call. I mean, it's a good thing it can do that even. But a cell phone is made to do so many other things. I thought she'd need a brand new phone, which I would have to get her. Get her? How are you going to get that for her? My thinking voice is saying, you're a kid. Where are you going to get the money for this expensive cell phone? But she just smiled and said, hey, thanks. I think I like this better. What? My thinking voice is saying, ooh, that is not the ending I expected. So my thinking voice is still thinking after the reading's over, and I'm wondering, why does Mom like this better? Well, maybe it's because adults can get really busy with work and commitments and other things that they have to do. And that cell phone, that's how people get in touch with them. They text them, they email them. Maybe she's like a lot of adults who say, phew, if my cell phone doesn't work, then I might get a little break. You see, that's an example of my reading voice reading the words, but my thinking voice thinking to me during the reading. And so what I want you to do is I want you to be paying attention. I want you to be aware of this, that when you are reading the words, you're also listening into your thinking voice and you're thinking about what the text means. Okay? So I want to give you a chance to try it out. I've got another poem by Ken Nesbitt, and this one's called Melinda Made a Snowman. Now, I will still be the reading voice, but I'm going to stop us every once in a while, and I want you to see, is your thinking voice saying anything to you? And I also will ask some questions to maybe prompt your thinking voice to have a thought. Ready? All right, let's go. Melinda made a snowman. Melinda made a snowman, which she gave a carrot nose. So your thinking voice, has it already started to whisper to you? Has it started to think about a time when you made a snowman? Are you visualizing? Are you imagining what it was like when you made a snowman? Did you have a carrot to put on it? You see, that's your thinking voice when you can see the images and you imagine it in your mind as well. She placed some rubber boots on what she figured were his toes. She gave him charcoal eyes, and after one last pat, upon her snowman's frozen head, she placed her father's hat. So I'm going to stop us there. And so are you seeing all of the other pieces that she added on to the snowman? The charcoal eyes, the hat. What kind of hat did you imagine? What is your thinking voice saying to you? Is it a baseball hat? Is it a ski hat, something you'd wear in the snow? Is it a fisherman's hat with a wide brim? You see, that's the thinking voice. It's thinking about what the text means. It's imagining what it might look like. She thought him nearly finished, and then as a final note, she took her father's favorite tie, and draped it round his throat. Okay, so we've been reading about all of the things that she's been adding. She added the father's hat. She added the father's tie. What's your thinking voice saying to you? Is there anything else that it's wondering or it's questioning? Maybe. How is Father feeling about Melinda using all of his belongings? Do you think he'll be mad that she took his stuff? Or do you think he's going to say it's cool because she's being creative? What's your thinking voice saying to you? Melinda was so proud of him, she rushed upstairs with glee. Glee, now let's talk about that word, because sometimes your thinking voice is trying to figure out what the word means. Melinda was so proud of him. I'm going to go back up to that sentence. Melinda was so proud of him. She rushed upstairs with glee. So what do you think it means? if she was proud of the snowman? Do you think she ran up there super fast because she was excited? Maybe glee means she's excited. She hollered to her mom and dad to hurry, come and see. But by the time they came downstairs, Melinda cried and cried. What? Why is she crying? Is your thinking voice wondering that? Is it asking that question? Is your thinking voice trying to come up with a reason for maybe why she's crying? Why could she be crying? Let's keep reading. Melinda, Mom and Dad said, snowmen must be made outside. Wait, outside? You mean she didn't make the snowman outside? Is your thinking voice now seeing the snowman in the house? And if she made the snowman in the house, what happened to him? What's your thinking voice saying to you? I think you're right. I think her snowman is already melting. Oh, poor Melinda. You see, reading voice is the one that reads the words. It really helps us to read what the text says. But you can't just listen to your reading voice. You also have to tap into that thinking voice. And you have to really think about what the text means. And so whether you have questions or maybe you're imagining and you're visualizing something in your mind, maybe you're predicting what's going to happen next, those are all your thinking voice thoughts. And you have to pay attention to them. It's really important. So, if I were your teacher, what I would have you do is I would have you make your own reading voice, thinking voice signs. We've got some little icons that you can use to print off to make these. But if you don't have a printer, no worries. Just get some scrap paper and draw your own speech bubble. Remember, that's the reading voice. That's the one that's reading the words. But don't forget that you need a thinking voice, and that's the thought bubble. That's the one that's having the thoughts in the brain, and it's whispering to you. Now, I just taped mine onto a ruler because it's what I had. But maybe you could tape yours onto a pencil or a popsicle stick or even a straw, something like that. Just whatever you have around the house. And I've included a couple more poems by Mr. Nesbitt. And you could read those poems and then stop periodically to pay attention to what your thinking voice is saying to you. And you could go back and forth with these poems. But you know what, guys? You could actually do this with any assignment or anytime you're reading just for fun. When you are reading anything, I want you now to pay attention to that thinking voice and try to see, what is it saying to you? Is it asking questions? Is it laughing? Is it thinking about a time you did something like that? Any thought at all. What is it saying to you? And so maybe your teacher has an assignment for you where you're going to engage in your thinking voice. So you could do my assignment, or you might have one from your teacher that's even better.